from different places, we all have different names. No matter what life brings us, Jesus is the same. We're just your Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness. Hi,
I'm Beth.
I'm Tim.
I'm Jessica, and we're just your everyday
Methodist to the madness.
How's everything going, guys? Beth, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm first today. That's good.
Are you the president?
I'm also a client. Wait,
Yes.
President of what?
She's the president.
For president. Isn't it President's Day or something?
Oh yeah, it is. Happy President's Day, everybody. Happy Me Day, because I am the president of this podcast.
Yes, our very own president of Methodist to the Madness here with us, Beth. Very exciting. It looks like you did not get the day off as president.
Well, I try to come in on Mondays because, I'm in my office right now for the listener. I try to come in on Mondays because that's the one day of the week that Jonah doesn't have any classes. And I find that if I try to come on days where he does have class, I'll drop him off and then I get here and then either his teacher texts me and it's like, hey, Jonah's out early today. And then I have to go the 15 minutes from here to go get him when his school is 5 minutes away from where I live. And then that knocks me out of my zone. Like I have to stop everything and I'm in my work groove and I'm like, no kids. And so anyway, I try to get most of my stuff done on Mondays because I don't have that interruption. And I'm not usually here this late, but Jonah and his friend Keith went to winter camp over the weekend and I had to go pick them up at 11:30. So
nice.
Yeah.
How did he like winter camp?
How was it?
This is probably, I think, his fourth time going.
Nice.
And he's not a kid who likes to do stuff. If I asked him, hey, Jonah, you want to go to winter camp? Like, he'd usually be like, no. But he's been going with Keith for the past 4 years. And so it's like, when you're an introvert and it's hard to make friends with other introverts, you have to find an extrovert to adopt you. Well, Keith and his extrovert friend, Keith is an extrovert, and Jonah's friend, I don't know why I'm naming names. It doesn't matter. We can keep the names in, but Keith and Gage are Jonah's friends he's been friends with since kindergarten, and they basically adopted him as their introvert. And so if Keith is willing to do something, usually Jonah's on board too. So
that is so cool. Adopting an introvert.
Yeah, you can tell if someone's an introvert because they're kind of comfortable, but also uncomfortable standing alone against a wall when there's a meeting of some sort.
Exactly.
That's the only reason why I married Amber, was because she was my extrovert to my introvertness. That's the only reason. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Jessica, you're the introvert or the extrovert?
I am naturally an introvert. It depends on the setting.
Seem like it.
No, I totally am. If I were in a group of people that I've never met before, I will be awkwardly in the back, just kind of analyzing everybody and trying to figure out where my own self fits in. And it's basically like, what can I say and what should I probably not say?
Right.
So the thing about introversion is, because I would say that I'm probably more extroverted than Craig is, even though I actually call myself an introverted extrovert.
Oh, wow.
And the thing about being an introvert, it's not just like, sometimes it can be about feeling shy or uncomfortable in social settings. But for me, like, I can be shy and uncomfortable in social settings, but even if I'm hanging out with people that I love, I still need time to recover from that by myself. You know, like I have a lot of fun, but it drains my social battery, and then I need to just be by myself for a little bit.
For sure.
Beth,
and that's how Jonah is. Yeah.
Beth, the reason why I suddenly said, "Oh wow," is because I classify myself exactly the same way as an introverted extrovert.
And I didn't know you could be both. I just was like, I don't really fit in this box, but I don't fit in this box either.
Right.
And I was like, oh, you can just be both? Yeah, they think that's what I am.
I think that's what they call a non-binary vert.
Yes. Non-binary vert.
Socially, I identify as a non-binary vert. Yes. That is correct.
Wonderful. The new things we're learning about each other tonight.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Yeah.
So, and Owen went to his friend's house a couple weeks ago, and I told Jonah that Owen would probably be fine with us watching Impractical Jokers without him. And so we did. And boy, was I wrong. Like a couple hours later, I get a message from Owen that just says, no, because I was like, we're going to watch it without you. And so I knew that Jonah would be very upset if we watched it without him. So, of course, we just finished all the episodes while he was at camp. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't. But I found that because Jonah was gone, I missed those guys. I was like, I didn't get my Impractical Joker fix.
Yeah.
So when Jonah came home today, we just watched like 3 or 4 episodes, and it was nice. And that's all I have to report.
Well, that sounds exciting, though. All good things.
Yeah.
Tim, what about you?
Let's see. So I'm just going to sidestep my check-in for a temporary period of time here and mention 2 things. The first that comes to mind is, I wanted to explain what I mean by an introverted extrovert for myself. So for me, I think I'm extroverted in the right settings. So if I feel comfortable and like especially at church, like I feel like I can be like my full extroverted self.
Oh yeah, I've seen you talking to many a people, Tim, at church.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
But at work, I'm kind of like, I'm introverted sometimes and I'm extroverted other times. Like there's some times where I'm like, oh, social gatherings. Wait, what? I don't want to do that. And then there's other times where I'm like, oh, you know what? I want to meet everyone, and I want to like cultivate better work relationships in a very significant manner. But then I also have the thing that Beth was alluding to, which was the needing to recharge. And so I kind of like have that, but also notice that I flex my extroverted energy that way too, where I like to like text people and call people, like maybe more often than other people will be willing to do that. So yeah, I don't know when I figured this out. I think it's when I took the Myers-Briggs personality test on 16personalities.com. And it's very interesting. I got the ENFP personality type, and I took the test like four different times over like 2 years, and I keep ending up with the same personality type. So I guess it's a pretty accurate test in that sense. Either that, or I'm just doing it wrong 4 times in a row.
Probably that one, Tim.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Awesome. Okay, so jumping into like, there's the second thing. So the President's Day, the formal term for President's Day that I guess the government actually uses is Washington's birthday, and I didn't find that out until this year. So anyway, for anybody who didn't know that, they want to do a search on it, they're welcome to do so.
Isn't it weird that his birthday always falls on a Monday?
Yeah, wait, so like maybe he's like going from like different universes or something like that from the past, having different like date which he's like having his birthday or something. Never mind.
Last week was Lincoln's birthday, quote unquote.
Oh,
it's on a Monday.
Yeah, it's interesting because and I just know this information. I didn't Google it and look at IndyStar.com. President's Day was established in 1879 to celebrate the birthday of nation's first president, George Washington, just like Tim said. He was born on February 22nd, 1732, just a couple of years ago. And then later, the holiday grew to honor the 16th president, Abe Lincoln, who was born on February 12th, 1809. And then it became a federal holiday and was signed into law by Lyndon B. Johnson in 1968.
Wow.
Oh, good.
That's really interesting.
Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah, thank you.
Honor our U.S. presidents, but more so Lincoln and Washington.
Wow. That's very fascinating. Yeah, I'm glad. Now I'm even more curious. I want to look it up again and read about it.
Yeah.
But okay, so my check-in now that I cut into part of my actually I don't have a lot to share, but ultimately do have an epiphany that I ran into, and I realized
an epiphany.
Huh?
You ran into an epiphany?
Yeah, I ran into an epiphany. Like I was driving, and the epiphany happened.
Just kidding. Please continue. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no problem. What we have here for my new insight that I say is an epiphany is suddenly a couple days ago, I realized that I'm not going to procrastinate anymore. Like legitimately, I realized that the core of pretty much all of difficulties that I have or challenges that I have in life in general is because I put things off. And so right before we're recording this episode here, I'm like, that is going to be the thing that I give up for Lent. I'm not going to procrastinate anymore. So that allowed me to come to the realization that there's like 3 different ways in which I can operate in life if I don't procrastinate. And I need to make decisions regarding these every day. The first is I'm going to get something done, like chores or tasks or work or you name it, when it comes to like actually being productive. So that's like maybe one of the first things that I can do in a given day. I'm not putting anything off. Then the second is maybe spending time with others, like spending time with my mom or spending time with like my brother or like friends or just like anyone that I feel like I want to spend time with. Then I make a decision regarding that and not putting anything off. And then third, spending time by myself, like really cherishing that time that I have by myself, like whether it's maybe taking care of something for myself or having fun, playing a game, reading a book, or something like that. So yeah, that is really important. So yeah, I'm giving up procrastination for Lent. I'm going to see how this week goes with that in mind, see if I have better days in general. I think I've been more productive this weekend because of trying this practice, like taking care of chores faster, going on errands faster. It's kind of making my day more, or the 2 days that I practiced it, more fulfilling. And then finally, I realized at work last week that it's a good idea for me to understand the best way to prioritize like things that I'm trying to do. And that I guess is a challenge with ADHD. It's like you want to attend to everything, and you might go from one task to another. So I looked up prioritization. There's like 10 different ways that you could prioritize your stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, well, there's too many choices here.
I'm going to put this off until I really need to do it.
Yeah,
nope,
exactly.
Can't do
I'm going to
it.
procrastinate on looking at the priority.
If you figure out the secret, let me know, because procrastination is also a really big symptom of ADHD.
Right, exactly.
Let me know.
Yeah, I'll have the follow-up insight, what actually allows me to follow through with procrastination, but not procrastinating on the next episode. But I guess last point on the prioritization, though, after looking through all of those and basically being more or less confused, I realized that maybe taking a little bit of both, or a little bit of two of them. So the first one that I saw was, actually the second one wasn't listed. So one of them was, do the most important tasks So like you have like a list of things that you need to do, or maybe you didn't even write down the list. Think of what is the most important tasks for you to take care of. And then just go with like one or two things, or maybe three if you're being courageous. And then,
I do the easiest one first for that quick dopamine hit. That's what I
yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I think that can kind of like get you encouraged and more energetic to get more things done. But I'm going to try the most
timers,
important.
Tim.
Huh?
I like to set timers.
Do you, Jessica?
Oh, nice.
I'll tell myself, I'll tell either Alexa or like Google or like whoever. Mm-hmm. I say it quietly in case anyone.
So they don't hear you.
Yeah, I know, right? Don't let AI hear me. But I'll tell them to like set a specific timer for whatever length of time, and then I try to beat that.
That's awesome.
It gives you that like adrenaline rush and that excitement of like trying to get that done.
Right. You're setting like a deadline for yourself, so then you actually work more efficiently.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to try to incorporate that actually. So between the most important things that I need to do and still dealing with other things that come up or whatever, but just recentering myself to the most important things and then setting deadlines. That's awesome. Very nice. What about you, Jessica, for your update? I don't want to take up all the time here.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for asking, Tim. Much appreciated. In honor of President's Day, I worked. This past week, I feel like I've been in this fog spiritually where I've been trying to like get back in the rhythm of reading my Bible every day. I'm now on 1 Timothy, so that's kind of where I'm at with like scripture reading. And so I'm doing this thing where I'm basically kind of like forcing myself to do things and really making time, because those are the most important things in life, are, being able to spend time with God and really making the time to do that. Like there's other things that aren't priority, even though we may tell ourselves that, X, Y, and Z is like more important, whatever. So I've been really trying to focus on that. What else? We had dinner at our neighbor's house last Friday, which was so much fun. I made cornbread and she made chili. So Amber and I walked over and we brought our, there was a bottle of wine that we got from, I don't know if you guys remember the story of me meeting Bob up the street because my package was delivered to the wrong address. And so I ended up getting 2 bottles of wine in addition to my items. Well, we brought one of those over. I did not drink because we all know that I'm trying to get pregnant here. So,
right.
But they tried it and they said it was so good. It was like a Merlot, but it was like smooth. Anyways, so we brought all that over. We walked across the little pathway and had an awesome dinner with her. We didn't leave till like 9 something. And
everyone knows that's past your bedtime.
I was past all of our bedtimes, but I know. Anyway, so that was a lot of fun, and that it was funny listening to the sermon on Sunday, because I was like, wait, I just had dinner with my neighbor. So anyway, but then on Saturday, it was like 5 something, and we had a couple reach out to us, and they were like, hey, do you guys want to come bowling with us? And we were like, in our pajamas, half asleep. And I was like, we're getting old. Let's do this. So we went bowling on Saturday night.
Wow.
We went to is it the LCB Underground, the one in Lancaster? Do you guys know what that is?
I do. I don't know what it's called, but it is letters. It's probably that.
Yeah, it's like a bowling alley. I think they only have like 10 lanes. And it's also a brewery.
They have craft beer.
Yeah, exciting. And what I did not realize is there is such thing as non-alcoholic stout. And if anybody knows me, I love a nice thick stout.
How was it?
It tasted just like a normal stout. And so
Really?
I was so excited. I had a non-alcoholic stout. I felt like I was with the party, and bowled the last frame that we bowled, we all did something weird. Like every time we'd go up there, we would like do like behind the back or between the legs or like with your left hand. And so we didn't even really care. But so there was a lot of community that was experienced this past week. So it was a lot of fun, and so altogether it was pretty good. So
that's really interesting. You diversified the way that you were bowling at the end. It's like, last chance to get your best bowling streak for this game. Well, you might actually do really well with this special shot here.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Exactly. Anyway, but other than that, though, I do want to update us on some things that are happening with the church now that we've updated ourselves. So remember, food for thought Wednesdays. We also have, I'm excited to hear an update about the youth group and all of the Ignite kids and their enjoyment of the retreat or the camp, the winter camp. I keep saying retreat because that's
winter camp.
The more you think about it, it's like, why is it called retreat? Like, what are we running from? So,
ourselves. It's always ourselves.
Right. Retreat.
Well, we're retreating to Jesus.
Retreating to Wrightwood.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm not looking at the bulletin because I can't seem to pull it up on here with the new amazing app that we've got. But other than that, remember in April, we have
Messy Church on February 25th, which is this Sunday.
Yes. So next Sunday, Messy Church, get excited about it. And Beth, you're going to be going somewhere with Pastor Jim is it like a Messy Church conference?
Yeah. In April, we're going to a Messy Church conference in Chicago.
That's so exciting. I just want you to know that I'm super jealous because I love the Chicago Cubs. And
I'm going to go see where the Bear is filmed and meet all the actors. And
great. Wow. You're going to be in the next episode. This is going to be great.
Yeah. I'm going to have Jeremy Allen White as our next podcast guest.
Nice.
He's going to tell us how he came to the Methodist Church.
Yes.
He's a Methodist for sure. I'm pretty sure
totally.
They're all Methodists.
They are, all of them. Every last one of them.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But anyways, if there's anything else that you're curious about that's happening with the church, feel free to check out the church website, or you can call the church office. That number is
661-947-3103.
Nice.
Got it right.
And we're going to head on into Beth's ministry moment. Beth, I'm super excited about this one tonight.
Oh, yes.
Well, before I introduce you to our guest, I'll give you a hint. He's a repeat guest.
What?
I'm going to give you, I'm going to read an email that Pastor Jim sent to the podcast just real quick, okay?
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So the subject is checking in. And then Pastor Jim says, Dear Beth, Tim, and Jessica, in no way, shape, or form am I attempting to compete with the oh-so-eloquent, long-distance podcast fan extraordinaire, Kathy Ankeny. She reigns supreme. However, since you sort of kind of asked for my feedback in this past podcast, I thought I would shoot you a quick note re-Lent.
All right.
You were debating the difference between penance and penitence. You were very close in your eventual description. I thought that was really funny. Penitence is when you feel remorseful for some thought /word /deed, and it leads to repentance. Penance is when you make good or make up for the aforementioned thought /word /deed that you are sorry about.
Wow.
And then he goes on to talk about an interesting side note, which is in the early church, Lent was a season when those who had committed sins against the church community were separated from the group for the period of 40 days. They were tasked with doing penance to show that they were truly remorseful for their thought/word/deed. Then at Easter, they were welcomed back wholeheartedly into the faith. Lent was also a time when people new to the faith would take the time to grow in their understanding of what it meant to be a follower of Jesus. Then on Easter, they'd be baptized and welcomed into the community. Keep up the good work. I love listening to your weekly insights, banter, reflections, and tangents. Peace, Pastor Jim. P.S. Blueberry pie is always a good choice.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Oh my God.
Pastor Jim.
Hey, thank you very much, Pastor Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Pastor Jim. I really hope we don't take into action the historical option of selecting members of the church and putting them, maybe they would be sent to Wrightwood for 40 days. I don't know.
I would love that. Can I do that?
Can you imagine?
I'll volunteer as tribute.
Yeah,
Can you imagine though? It's like you walk in and like as you're leaving, Pastor Jim gives you like a card. You get,
Don't
like,
come back for 40 days.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Lent, I decided what I'm giving up. I've given up frivolous spending for the next.
Oh, that's really nice.
Or so. It's harder than I thought it would be because apparently I do a lot of frivolous spending. But
Gotcha.
That's great. Yeah,
know.
that's inspirational to me. I'm going to think about my spending a lot more carefully based on that. Awesome.
Yep. So anyone can give up sugar or alcohol, but anyway, unless you guys have other things to say, I will introduce our today's guest.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Woohoo.
Okay. Today we have Don Morris, and he was going to talk a little bit about the bells. I forgot what it's officially called. The bell choir.
The bells.
The joyful praise ringers.
That's what it is.
They're not like phone ringers. They're wonderful chime ringers.
Just a minute. I'm almost done filling out my non-binary vert application here.
Is that what you also identify as, Don?
Oh, yeah. Well, mainly introvert, but yeah, I do have a position that requires some type of an extrovert activity.
Yeah. And you do it well, Don. You do it well.
That is one of my biggest fears was speaking in public, and lo and behold, God gives me a position where that is part of my job duties. Yeah.
So, what do we have in store in the near future from the joyful bell?
Joyful praise ringers? Yes,
ringers.
They are back to rehearsing. We're going to be getting ready for the Easter season, and you don't have to read music, but it definitely helps. It helps to be able to follow along what's going on. You don't have to be a great music reader, but you're only required to follow 2 notes, and no prior bell experience is necessary. It's just a lot of fun. It's a great group.
I really feel like you guys should get shirts that say "Da Bells." Instead of Da Bears from that.
Da Bears. Yeah.
That would be pretty awesome. So for Easter, what are I guess I'm trying to think of what some Easter songs would be in a traditional Methodist church.
Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yes.
Wait, really?
No.
Well, that fits with the eating with Jesus part, but no, Christ the Lord is risen today, a great Charles Wesley Easter hymn.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He related to John Wesley? Is that his brother?
That's his brother, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
That's what I thought.
And now I got to make sure that it was Charles that wrote it and not John.
Oh.
It could have been John Wesley.
it was one of the Wesley brothers.
Yeah.
That would be an awesome album, the Wesley Brothers.
Yeah. I guess if you get the book of hymns and you played a few of the songs and you called it the Wesley Brothers, I don't know if you would be wrong in doing that.
No. Yeah.
They should do it. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I wanted to mention that Yeah, I like how you said no prior bell experience required. Like you got the bell, and you either have experience with it or you don't.
Yeah.
And without people knowing that we're talking about a bell choir, they would be wondering, like, wait, what would you be using the bell for? So that's just neat that we can.
I guess, I was born and raised Catholic, so I didn't have a whole lot of experience with Methodism, but I guess handbells are a pretty big tradition for Methodist churches.
Oh, that's awesome.
Really cool. I've always wanted to try it out, but I also feel way too intimidated to try out because I've heard you rehearse with your group, and you guys are all very good. Yeah, so good.
Yeah,
it's a great group of people. Yeah,
yes,
it's beautiful,
and they have so much fun doing it too. It's just they usually rehearse on Wednesdays after Food for Thought, and I was doing kids club every week. It's now down to once a month, every fourth Wednesday of the month. But when I would be cleaning up my kids club station, I would, still be there when they were rehearsing, and just the energy is so much fun, and all of them just really love the bells and what they're doing, and I've always enjoyed kind of getting those sneak peeks of the bells.
It's a lot of fun because it's not something that you normally would do. The bells is not something I ever aspired to be able to play, but it's a lot of fun to do it.
Yeah.
And Lori Shaw gets so into it.
She has a very determined face on when she plays.
She does.
I feel like her and Jody both
oh my goodness.
get into it.
Yeah.
But the thing is like you guys did for the holiday season, you guys did the bells. And you guys were like switching, around. I mean, it was like choreographed basically at the same time.
I got to be in on that. Jody was like, "Hey, Beth, I need to watch this for a second. Tell me if this looks cool." And they're just like switching all around. And I'm like, "Yeah, that's amazing. You guys are so cool."
That was the trio that Jody and Lori and I did one Sunday. And man, that was crazy.
Yeah. That was pretty awesome though.
Yeah, seriously. Like really cool. Basically every time any of the participants ring the bells, it's like epic. Like they're waiting for the next moment in which they're going to ring the bell. And then it just results in this like overall just magnificent performance. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Come on down Wednesdays at 7:30.
Yeah.
After Food for Thought.
In the fellowship hall where you can ring bells with the fells.
Be a ding-a-linger.
And if you're too intimidated to ring the bells, you can always just help me clean up kids club.
Yeah. If you're not sure, just pretend that you're helping Beth clean up and watch until you feel like you could totally do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Anything else, Don, that we could expect in the future for any of the music at PUMC?
Wow. Well, we are getting ready for Easter, so we're starting to ramp up for that. That's always fun.
All right.
The flower cross is a big deal with the church, and I love the flower cross. So yeah, it's just some exciting times.
Yeah, it's really, really awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, another thing I'm looking forward to is talking about sermon feedback from everybody. And Don, I'm curious, would you be able to stick around, or do you got to head out?
Certainly, I'm good.
Awesome. Hope anybody, if you're hungry, get some snacks, because the sermon series that we started is called Eating with Jesus. This series is a shocking meal, and we dove into Mark chapter 2, verses 13 through 17. I literally have so many notes from this past Sunday, and I loved the sermon. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the past like few times that Pastor Jim has been preaching, he's like on fire. I don't know. It has been incredible. I mean, Tim, what did you think about this past Sunday's sermon?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. I really appreciated the fact that Pastor Jim brought forth such a strong message of unity regarding like believing in Jesus and just practicing the faith, and how Jesus brought everybody together. Like you have the saying from Romans, like both the Jew and the Greek are united through Jesus. And I was thinking about the mission statement, inspired by Jesus to love. And I really think that Jesus brought a message of love, and people like for whatever reason, they forget that. And so like, I think about that quote that Pastor Jim put forward about how as you continue in the faith, and you become really like strong in your faith, you might find yourself divided within your own faith tradition. And I thought that was very fascinating. So yeah, I think it was really cool. And the other thing is, it gave me an opportunity for gratitude when like eating with others. Like my mom and I always like, we'll eat dinner together. What we don't do it like a traditional thing where we're in front of like on the table or anything like that with all of our food, but we'll eat like on the couch with our dogs, and the dogs always want some morsels or whatever. And it just gave me an opportunity to like appreciate that. Like, okay, I'm done. I'm done for the day. Like maybe I'm done with work, or it's the end of the day, and I could just have a nice time with my mom and like eat dinner with her and stuff. So I thought that was really nice. But going back to the message of unity, though, I really think that is so important. And I guess like I wish everyone understood that Christ brought a message of love, and that unifies everyone. And I think it's so powerful to like focus on how much we love the Lord and love our neighbor. And when we focus on that love, I think that can bring nothing but unity among all the peoples. Mm-hmm. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it. But yeah, that was a really nice sermon. I really appreciated it. Thank you, Pastor Jim.
Thanks, Pastor Jim.
Thank you.
Don, what about you?
Now you have to say thank you.
I did?
No,
Jessica.
No.
Okay. No, thank you.
No,
Jessica, Pastor Jim.
No, thank you.
At least she was polite.
Don, what'd you think? You heard it twice. That's the bonus.
Or nice. 3 or 4 times, because I'm also the one that edits the videos for the sermon posting on YouTube too. But
did you memorize it? Are you going to recite it back to us?
It's going to take close, it on
the
road.
Yeah. I'm really excited for the series because for me, like my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, because the only purpose for that is for the family to get together and eat. You know, I love that aspect. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where he's going with this.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. Beth, what did you what are some takeaways?
Here are my 2 takeaways. I probably have more, but here's the ones that I'll share with you.
You have like secret takeaways?
Well, just ones that I didn't think of in time, and then later I'm like, oh, I should have said that.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah. So these are the ones that I can think of now.
Right.
Tim was mentioning that he sits down with his mom and their dogs to eat, but not at the table on the couch. And that's kind of what my family does. Including the dogs too. They always want those little morsels, and that's when we sit down and we sometimes we'll eat together. Other times we'll have our impractical joker hour while we're eating. So we're hanging out, we're eating, we're laughing, we're trying not to choke on our food from all of the laughter. And so far it's worked out pretty well. And I've been thinking a lot, even before this sermon, a lot about kind of hanging out with the quote unquote people that we shouldn't be hanging out with. And when I was a kid, my dad took us to a musical at a community theater production of the Will Rogers Follies. Has anyone heard of it? It came out in 1991, I believe. And
not familiar.
Keith Carradine played Will Rogers. And I loved that musical so much that when I was in high school, when I was a sophomore in high school, I did an entire research paper on Will Rogers. And that guy is a fascinating guy. And his whole shtick was he never met a man that he didn't like. I feel like it should be updated. He's never met a person that he didn't like. But that guy died in 1935, so we can give him a little bit of a free pass. But he traveled all over the world and just met all of these different peoples, like kings and presidents. And one of the things that he would do, it was kind of like a comedy routine where he would read the paper and he would poke fun of what's going on in the paper. And I actually found the entire musical production on YouTube. And I watched it once last week. And then I watched it again this weekend. And I told my dad to watch it too, because we watch the movies on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna wait for Beth to
I don't know how that happened.
You got so excited, Beth.
I know, I was so excited, like, oh. But basically, he read from a paper from the 1930s, and it was the same kind of stuff that was going on in the 90s. And also the same kind of stuff that's going on today, which I just think is so interesting and fascinating. And that whole history repeats itself kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he would poke fun at everybody, but it was never mean spirited. There was no malice in his heart. And I kind of think that that's what I aspire to be like. And I try to see things from other people's perspectives instead of just seeing them as a person I'm supposed to hate. And if you listen to their stories and see them as a human and not as that, political group that you don't agree with or whatever, you'll find that they're just people just like us. He said that everybody's the same. Everybody just wants a good night's sleep and something to eat or something like that. And right. I think that that's true. And so I really liked, and there's always just something so intimate too about eating together with somebody, and not, it's sharing your stories, having laughs. And I just think that's really cool. And I wanted to say that Linda Sockerman helped me with Sunday school yesterday. And the first thing she said to me was, did you see the sermon? Did you watch the sermon yet? And I'm like, no, I haven't watched it yet. She's like, oh, it was so good. And she was so excited about it. And she was telling me that her husband, Mike, is that guy who's always, letting people, if they need a place to stay, Mike is always like, you can stay here. And just so excited about it. And I love that kind of energy. I think that energy is so contagious. And good job, Pastor Jim.
Hey, Beth, something you said caused me to remember that according to umc.org, I think it's very reputable here, what I'm going to say next, and that's apparently John Wesley coined the term agree to disagree. So
Yes.
so that's incredible. That. Yeah. That's so what you were saying, Beth,
been
about
mentioned before, but
what?
I think that's been mentioned before. I think even on this podcast, but of course he did. I just think that's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. So like we're not going to agree with everyone, but we can exercise love for everyone, and so consequently we're just going to disagree. So let's agree on the fact that we disagree. Yep. I mean, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's celebrate what we have in common instead of what we don't have in common.
Right.
Yeah. There was a quote that Pastor Jim shared from Culpepper, and it was the paradox of holiness. I don't know if you guys recall this, but it was like, I think for me and Amber, it really hit home of like, yes, like it just felt so validated in some way. But Culpepper said, the more a person or community of believers comes to appreciate the character of God and grows in Christ-likeness, the more God's love and will drive them outside the religious community to serve and mediate God's love to the wretched and the despised. Mm-hmm. All too often, those who cross ethnic, racial, economic, and social barriers following the mandate of love are criticized by other members of the religious community, and usually by persons in their own religious tradition. We were like, yep, been there, done that. Well, not done that, but like been there, like we felt like that was just, so validating that somebody actually sees that. I know maybe people think that, but like for an author, for somebody to really put that there, and then Pastor Jim sharing that in church was really powerful for us, because we always, in a lot of different ways, that's, our life, like us being married, like people, I don't know why, they just think they got a problem with it. And it's like, well, I don't like that, you eat lamb. I don't know.
Have I told you my philosophy on gay marriage, Jessica?
No, but what a great time to share.
Yeah. Well, I was telling this to Dita because this is exactly how I feel. And I've said it before, but if you don't believe in gay marriage, then you should not get gay married. That is
Absolutely.
Oh, right. Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah, nobody is forcing you to marry somebody of your same sex.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you love your neighbor, and so you're going to love everybody else that has decided to.
I don't know if I've told you this before, but I love that you and Amber are at our church. And
I love that too.
I hope that we've made you feel welcome. I realize I am an awkward person. And
agree to disagree.
If that did not make you feel welcome, I'm sorry. My shirt was probably itchy that day, and that was all I could think about.
Oh, it's fine, Beth. We can agree to disagree for sure.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I appreciate that. It's crazy how we prayed about finding a church for like a couple of years, and then this house, kind of fell into our lap, and had no idea that we could get a house. And little by little, like God just kind of paved a way for us to come to the church. And so it's definitely been probably one of the biggest blessings we've had together. And it's been a joy. Another thing I did want to mention was, what did you guys think about the hillbilly preacher?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
I love that, and I think that it's so true in terms of like church population. I mean, obviously, every church wants to have this like massive congregation, but I would totally be fine with 4 people who I know are loving Christians, or like Pastor Jim said, the real Christians,
right?
Than those that are, potentially, living out the quote that I shared, persons that are, not supporting of everybody.
Yeah, I think that's so special when you have people that are really devoted to God, love God, and they're there for themselves and they're there for others. And I think that's really powerful. And I think it works a lot better in practice when you have a smaller group that is super committed to their faith than a larger group that is just like casual, like faith on Sunday, but no faith the rest of the week kind of situation.
And I don't know how people do that, I'll be honest, because it's like, you either have it or you don't,
I know.
I don't know how you 12 o'clock on Sunday, I'm going to clock out,
I don't have enough energy to be able to be two different people.
Right. Yeah. There's a quote that I heard before, and it's something like, calling yourself a Christian because you go to church, or I can't remember. It was something. Never mind.
I think I know where you're going. Calling yourself a Christian because you go to church is like calling yourself a car because you're in the garage.
Oh yeah, yes, that's what it was. But mine was calling yourself a Christian because you go to church is like calling yourself a hamburger because you go to McDonald's. I was like, I lost it. No, thanks God for me when I was drowning. Oh.
But if you do hear us doing the same song over and over again, it's because somebody came up to me and said that I don't like that song.
That's hilarious.
I love it. Oh, speaking of quotes, is there any reason for us to bring up the Wesleyan quadrilateral today?
Tim, this is all you. You have like everything memorized. So.
Like the Wesleyan quadrilateral set. Go, Tim.
Well, actually, there is one thing that I remember, and that's how how special it was for people to get together at that time when Jesus was around. Like those times were really special. And also I thought it was really interesting how Pastor Jim had mentioned that they kind of have like open doors and then people are eating and like people could just kind of like oversee like the dinner occasions and stuff like that. And that's probably great for Jesus being at the dinner table. But I guess in the case of the Pharisees overseeing that, and then they're like, wait, why are there sinners and tax collectors here at your table? So that wasn't exactly the most convenient situation. However, it was great because Jesus could explain that, and this kind of falls into my third point. Actually, I wanted to bring up that is we come to Jesus because we're a sinner, and we're sick. And like, if we have the ultimate formula and we're righteous already, like, why would we be asking for Jesus and following after Jesus? So I thought that was really an important reminder for me, that it's really, we seek Jesus because we need his help and we need his care, and he helps us in our lives. And so I think that just makes a lot of sense.
Jesus and Don save us when we're drowning.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of drowning,
wait, what?
Jessica, I love your segues.
Does anybody have any prayer requests as we close out today's episode? Anything in particular? We can start with you, Don, as our guest. Is there any prayer requests?
Well, judging by the calendar that Pastor Jim talked about for Lent, today's thing is to pray for someone that's hard to get along with. I won't mention the name, but God knows who that is, so that's who I'm going to be praying.
Well,
okay.
That is so nice.
I'm going to start listing off names. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'll raise my hand when you get to the right one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Is it Lisa? Just kidding.
My hands are tied behind my back.
Oh, I just got it. Okay. I found the calendar.
That is really thoughtful, Dawn. And that reminds me of what Jesus says to love our enemies. That's really nice.
Yeah.
It's easy to pray for people that you like, but it's kind of tough to pray for people that you don't like.
Yeah.
I think
I'm always praying that something bad happens to them. Just kidding.
No, I'm glad that you're doing that, Dawn. And I think, and I hope that, your perspective on them can potentially change, and maybe God will give you new words to say when you're in conversation with them. Maybe that's something that, so, but definitely going to be praying for you in that situation.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Beth, what about you?
Well, I kind of have an update about one of the prayers that I asked for a few podcasts back.
Okay.
Owen's friend who has just had a really rough go of it. He was really worried that CPS was going to get involved, and he wouldn't tell Owen what was going on. And so he was afraid he was going to be taken away and go back into the foster system. And anyway, Owen and I still don't know what was going on or what his issues were, but he is currently not wanted by CPS. No, that's a weird way to phrase it, but
no, that's good.
And everything is, I think there was some weird stuff. They messed up his credits or something for school, and that was really stressing him out, and he didn't know how to fix it, and probably other stuff going on. But as of right now, Owen is still in contact with him and seems to be doing okay considering the circumstances. So that's good. Yeah. And my brother is in the process of, my older brother, Ben, is in the process of buying his first home. And he just signed he got the loan docs and fired off a few questions. I'm just reading the text message that he sent. Anyway, so just fingers crossed that everything happens as it should and he is able to buy his first home. He sent me the Zillow link and it really looks like a nice place.
That's incredible.
He lives in South Dakota, Rapid City, with my mom. And
nice.
He doesn't live with them, but he lives in the same city as both of them. So
that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear, Beth.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's it for me.
All right, Tim.
Let's see. I think that I could use some prayers for my Lent giving up opportunity here, and that's my giving up procrastination. I'm really committed to doing this because I really do think that this is the one major thing that's just causing me tremendous difficulty in my life. So if like I mentioned before, if I figure out how to stay committed to this, then I'll certainly share it next episode. But prayers for me to continue on this path, and especially as it relates to my morning routine. Because I, for whatever reason, just have no motivation to do my morning routine.
You have a morning routine?
Yeah.
I just fly by the seat of my pants every single day. So when people have a routine, that is fascinating to me. I'm like, can I get some of that too, please?
Well, my giving up for Lent has messed with my morning routine also. But
is it coffee? Did you give up coffee?
I'm giving up coffee for Lent. Yeah.
Oh wow. That's really good.
Are you?
Are you gonna have tea at all, or is it like?
Yeah, I am drinking some tea, and that's the only thing that kind of helps stave off most of the headaches. But when you do about a pot to a pot and a half of coffee a day,
but we'll definitely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was reading up on why people give something up for Lent, and part of it is somebody saying if you give up coffee and you get a headache, it is a reminder of how you should be dependent upon God.
Yeah.
And, not necessarily, and it's like, that's kind of cool. And I think I'm going to give up coffee for Lent. So,
Wow. That's
love
really
that.
neat.
That's cool. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah,
oh
Jessica.
my gosh, I was about to end the podcast. Well,
I'm sorry, that's all we have time for.
Play the theme song.
Well, continued prayers. I mean, I don't even know what you say. Like, I hope that I'm pregnant. Time will tell. I don't know what I can personally do other than like, I'm drinking so much water and I'm trying to be mindful. Amber and I can't talk. Amber and I are going plant-based for Lent. And so that's something else I think is helpful.
For sure.
Unfortunately, we did find a way to make plant-based mac and cheese, and that is awesome. But I paired it with some Brussels sprouts. I was like, it's a nice combination here.
I don't think that Oreos are plant-based, but they are vegan.
They are vegan. Yes.
Hey, Jessica, there's this really good coconut-based yogurt over at Sprouts. I highly recommend it. It tastes like actual yogurt, but in a way it kind of tastes even better than actual yogurt. And I seem to be like a little bit lactose intolerant, not fully, like I can have cheese, but sour cream and like regular yogurt makes me sick. So this has been really nice having the coconut base. So check that out. I recommend that for a plant-based.
Did you have a strawberry flavor of that?
No, just plain.
Okay.
Plain or vanilla?
Oh, just plain.
Ew. Did you put any stevia in it?
That's what I call sour cream.
Yes, same. Did you put it on tacos?
I probably could. It's a little bit sweet, actually. So I don't think probably because of the my not having like carbs coconut. And stuff. Yeah, because of the coconut. Yeah. But yeah, it's not as sweet or yummy as strawberry. I
the
can
Greek
say that.
stuff is so tart. Greek yogurt.
Yeah. Is it this, Tim?
No.
I showed a picture of the coconut cult. Which is actually, I believe this is something I have had, which is coconut yogurt, and I had a strawberry kind at Sprouts. It's like $10 for, I think, like 5 ounces or 6 ounces. It's crazy. But they only recommend 1 spoonful a day. So like a Mary Poppins a day.
Nice.
Is it that, Tim?
It's not that one either.
Oh.
No, because that is false advertising, because it is not so delicious.
It's not so delicious? Okay. Well, tried.
Anyways, last thing, I'm trying to think.
We probably would have just kept talking about yogurt.
Yeah, I was really looking up more yogurt.
Yeah, we're going to do that after the episode, just so everybody knows.
Okay, sorry, Jessica. What's the last thing?
No, you're fine. I'm trying to remember. So plant-based.
No, it's not about yogurt.
I thought it was.
I don't believe it was about yogurt. I don't remember.
This is the yogurt episode. No, sorry.
Yeah. So that's it. That's my.
We'll just pray for you in general.
Yeah.
Pray for you, Jessica, and also for getting pregnant for sure.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you tried sitting in a chair upside down? I saw Phoebe do that. And when she was trying to have her brother's babies.
That's fascinating.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I cannot confirm nor deny that I had my legs high into the air.
You could get one of those inversion tables, Jessica, and then you can make it a reality.
I was thinking Mork and Mindy, Robin Williams.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I think that's it. I think that's all as far as we can go from here.
Yeah, between inversion tables and yogurt, I think that's a good stopping point.
We better stop now. Otherwise, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah,
I wanted to make a yogurt pun. I couldn't think of any.
Well, audience, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Think about how beautiful the bell choir is, and thank you for tuning in to our episode. And thank you, Don, for joining us.
Yeah,
thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
And have some yogurt.
From different places, we all have different names. No matter what life brings us, Jesus is the same. We're just your Methodist to the madness. Methodist to the madness.